Yeah.
Joe? I am rolling.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1482, February 12, 2025.
Very good.
Well, we almost made our first 60. It was 59 degrees on this day in 1990. The first 60 of the calendar year I will be announcing before this week concludes.
Okay.
All right. But we damn near got it in 1990.
I'm pro that.
And it was 30 below on the morning of this day, on this day of this year. No, in 1875.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Can I tell you something? The one in that opening when they mentioned the boathouse on the shores of Spoon Lake.
Yes, sir.
They got some lake in the Swiss Alps or something. It doesn't look like a lake around here.
Theater of the mind.
Well,
It's got mountains, and we don't have mountains around here.
May I ask a question?
You got bluffs?
So what you're upset about is in this mythical town that
Yep.
doesn't exist.
That's right.
The lake photo is not.
I have standards.
I got it. Okay.
And you're also upset that somebody made an extra effort to make the show look good, and it does.
Well, excuse me for pointing out that it's not a very characteristic lake for where we are in the world.
Joe, not everything can be as classy as a couple of shitty banners featuring faces from 20 years ago behind you on screen. Not everything can be that classy.
Joe, on behalf of the behind-the-scenes production team, noted.
But if you would like to change your life, I've got an item you cannot live without. Maybe you want to change your lie, not your life. It's the Garage Logic.
Hey. What the hell are you?
He was going to promote a
I was
giveaway.
going to promote a giveaway, a very prestigious
Keep going.
giveaway
I'm
that
sorry.
If you want to change your life, maybe your lie, then you can't live without the Garage Logic Divot Repair Kit. It comes in black and red and fits right in your pocket. Available now at the Minnesota Golf Show, Friday the 21st
of February.
Thank you.
Get your tickets at mngolfshow.com.
Back to regular programming as I puke it up. That was a cold read, by the
An
way.
emailer named Derek Brennan sent me a piece yesterday, and I read it last night, and my mind began to whirl. It's a piece called "The Plot Against America," and it's written by a guy named Mike Brock, who I'm unfamiliar with, and I tried to reach him today, and I can't find a way to reach him. And the emailer, Derek, was kind enough to say, well, I'll try too. Maybe Derek's more familiar with this guy's writings. He's written frequently for a Substack called The Circus. I think John Haidt can corroborate that. Yes. I don't know a lot about that Substack, but it's called The Circus. And boy, I don't know where to begin, but I'll begin with this. It's really an interesting piece, and it's fascinating, and a lot of it makes sense. And I don't even think it falls in the realm of conspiracy. I think what this Brock fellow is doing, and it's pretty well written. It's a long, long piece. Takes you a long time to read it. But I certainly would suggest that GLers read it. That what's going on in Washington right now is so far ahead of the curve of anything we know that we just don't know it.
Okay.
And that Trump is basically an extremely useful idiot for what's taking place. I don't even mean that. I mean that in the fullest sense of the definition of that term.
I understand.
He is the perfect guy to be president while the people who are really going to fashion things are doing their job. So it's this Brock's contention that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and a bunch of economists whose names I can't even pronounce, and I've never heard of them. There are some cases they're Austrian, and other cases American. They're not even necessarily bad guys. The analogy I've come up with is it would be like if a group of naval architects went to the rainforest and discovered the canoe-making habits of a previously unknown tribe. And they would say, this is how you call this a boat? you think this is a canoe?
Right.
Look at how long it takes you to do this.
Your efficiency is terrible.
You're weaving cattails into this thing. Here's how you make a canoe. So the analogy being that Musk and his buddies, who are undeniably ahead of the curve in many aspects of the world, they get to Washington and they go through a place like USAID, the United States Aid for International Development, and they toss us a few bits like, look at it, we've paid for a Sesame Street production in Iraq, and we're putting on LGBT operas in Colombia and whatnot, because that gets us fired up. We can identify with that kind of waste.
Yes.
But I think what this Brock thinks they're really doing is thinking, A, does this agency even need to exist? And B, if it does, it's being run real poorly. You'll note, I bet everyone's seen the latest where Musk has discovered that if you want to fire a federal employee, you have to retrieve the records from a limestone mine somewhere in New Jersey or Pennsylvania, where all the records are on paper and they're all in this underground vault. Have you guys seen that?
No.
It's in the
No, I've not
news.
seen
It's
it.
been in every news site. It's very...
I didn't know. I did not see
The
this.
point being that Musk looks at stuff like that, and he just shakes his head and he said, you people are Neanderthals. He must look at the whole United States government and think, you people are idiots. And then Brock goes on to suggest that not even very long term, maybe within 4 years, that the end game, because I've been wondering that before the Brock piece was made available to me. I kept saying, well, what's Musk's end game? What he doesn't need any money.
Right.
He might covet even more power if such a thing exists, but he's got $400 billion. He doesn't need any money.
Right.
So what's in it here?
Do you believe that maybe he is, in fact, he's of right mind in trying to trim waste?
Well, it goes beyond trimming waste. I don't think Musk and his merry band of Peter Thiel and a bunch of economists who we can't pronounce their names, I don't think he thinks everybody in Washington is corrupt. He doesn't think that, Mrs. Graufalfal, who goes to work every day and works at USAID, is there to steal money.
Right.
She's just part of a system that a guy like Musk would look at and think is so impossibly antiquated that it can't possibly work. At the very least, it can't possibly work efficiently, competently. It's outdated. Now, the wrinkle in this, if you keep following Brock's thinking, is it therefore would stand to reason for Musk and his followers that the very concept of the constitutional republic or democracy itself is outdated. It needs to be replaced by a new paradigm, a new dynamic.
Reimagined?
Exactly. You could take the word that the Mysterians, and these people aren't Mysterians. Mysterians are born basically from a disdain for America. They have a disdain for us, for culture, for America, for capitalism, for entrepreneurship. They have a disdain for that. That's what Mysterians are, and Mysterians are going to be left in the dust if any of this is even half true. I don't think what they're up to is born of a disdain for America. I think they look at it as a company that can be much better run. Yes?
Isn't that exactly what you've been asking for years now?
Well, I don't know. This article is so mind-boggling. It leaves me wondering, what have I been asking for? Certainly, I would like efficiency and competency, but these guys we're talking about, if I'm reading this correctly, there will be no more president. There wouldn't be any more Congress. There wouldn't be any more Senate. I don't know about the judiciary. I don't know how laws would be enforced. But it's not, they're so far out there in their minds that they're not doing it because they hate America. They're doing it because this is what they do. They look at an operation and they figure out, well, how in the hell can I make this about 15,000 times better than it already is? And they look at this and they think, you people are Neanderthals. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. This isn't the way you should be doing business because, again, they're looking at it as a company. Now, is there a clue to any of this? Is there a clue? Trump has repeatedly said and is yet to retract a statement that he's made on a number of occasions, and that is, don't worry, you'll never have to vote again. All right? Now he said that. That's not Black Helicopter. That's not me making it up. Trump has said this. Here's a New York Times piece. Let's let the euphorians describe it. Here's a New York Times piece from July 30 of just this past July, 2024. Former President Donald J. Trump, in an interview broadcast Monday night, repeated his recent assertion, this one's to Christians, that they will never have to vote again if they vote for him this November, and brushed aside multiple requests to walk back or clarify his statement. Mr. Trump said last Friday, I love you. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
I remember that quote. I don't know what it means.
Is this a clue? Mr. Trump says, Fox News' Laura Ingraham noted that Democrats have highlighted that quote as evidence that Trump would end elections and urge Mr. Trump to rebut what she called ridiculous criticism. But Mr. Trump declined to do so, repeating a pattern he frequently employs in which he makes a provocative statement that can be interpreted in various ways and makes no attempt to quiet the uproar. The comment was especially striking given his attempts to overturn the 2020 election and his shattering of other democratic norms. It could be I'm just having fun here. Let's have fun.
Let's have some fun.
Let's have our minds go with imagination.
Hi, this is Peter.
Okay. It could be that Musk and his buddies are going, I wish you wouldn't say that. They might have let Trump in just enough that Trump has a vague idea of what the plan is.
Okay.
Useful idiot. He's their perfect, Michael Brock calls him, their perfect battering ram. Because all you have to do is keep patting him on the back and saying, boy, are you cool. And he just goes on. He just says, that's cool. I am cool. I'm great. I'm great. And in the meantime, they're really they're getting to the bottom of things by saying, this is ridiculous the way this country's run. It's ridiculous. And the end game would be, it won't be run this way anymore. That would be the end game.
You think Trump is being run by Musk?
Absolutely.
Your derangement system has gone way
This has
off.
nothing to do with.
Oh my
I'm
God!
I'm almost feeling sorry for Trump. He's a foil.
Everything I've read and everything you've said so far sounds like liberal bullshit because you hate Trump.
Oh man, you're
Well,
too
Joe,
clever by half. This has
I'm
nothing
trying-
to do with hatred of anybody.
I'm trying to read this plot against America.
Well, it's going to take you 2 hours, and you should do it in a private room and be quiet about
It's
it.
nonsense.
Well, I don't think it is. I think it's fascinating.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Would you prefer everything that you just laid out?
Yeah.
And I'm not. I kind of siding with Kenny. I don't think that's what's going on because I don't think anyone's capable of running Trump. But anyway, would you prefer to live in that world or
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America.
or whoever the hell was running Biden for 4 years?
Well, that's one thing they have in common. According to Joe, they're being run.
I don't know enough to tell you.
Well, the answer is come on.
No. I don't know. I don't know where we fit into this plan. Where does the American citizen fit into
We're
this
just eating
plan?
our popcorn and watching her go.
Exactly. What happens? What happens to us if this is what they're doing?
Well, wouldn't you try to side with the fact that if they continue to reduce government waste, it will help our own personal bottom line?
Get over the idea of government waste. Get over that. They're
Well, that's what he's there to
they're
do.
a light year beyond government waste.
Okay.
That's not what they're dealing with.
All right.
They tell us that's what they're dealing with because we can absorb that and understand it. But they're beyond worried about it. It's like I said, it's naval architects going into the rainforest and saying, "You call this a canoe? Here's how you make a canoe."
All right.
And we'll make it in 10 minutes. It's taken you guys 6 months. No, they're beyond waste. They're on to something else. And you asked me, wouldn't I prefer that? How can I answer that when I don't know what it is? I don't know where this leaves you or me or Hyde or Rook or Kenny. Where does this leave us? I don't know. I have no idea. But I do know that big things are happening and they're part of it.
Rook, are you offended he didn't send the story to us?
Yeah,
I
I think you know I wasn't
thought
gonna
about
read
it, but then thought, who am I kidding?
Right. There were no cliff notes. I want Chat GPI.
JD Vance apparently has a big role in this. He's been mentored, tutored, and bought and paid for by Peter Thiel, about whom I don't know a great deal. There's an economist called Balaji Srinivasan is writing the blueprint. Elon Musk is laying the infrastructure. And the young operatives now wiring AI models into the Treasury Department, disbanding the civil service, bypassing traditional government, and replacing democratic accountability with technological sovereignty are working toward a future that would long outlast Trump himself. This is not about Trump. This is about what comes after him.
Okay.
Now,
So he's setting the table?
if Kenny's right, there's a part of me that would be greatly relieved. If this is all just some blithering idiot making this up for his Substack, that's okay. But there's too much of it that makes sense based on what we're seeing in Washington right now.
So we as citizens and voters are going to just sit here and let this happen to us?
Well, I'll repeat, I don't know what this means for us.
And then if we rise up against us, our family members who are in the military are going to come after us and I don't know, shoot us down, oppress us, take our firearms.
No, based on what I've read, this has nothing to do with turning the military on the American public. Nothing.
Well, I'm looking in far into the future like you are, and I'm seeing Americans rising up and saying, nope.
You think the average Walls voter in this state could do anything to stop this? They don't know any more about it than I do.
Well,
in fact, they now know less. The average guy at Costco still wearing his pajamas, do you think he gives a bleep about this?
Not until it's too late.
It won't.
Not until it's too
You'll
late.
wake up and this will have happened.
Right.
So for pushback, first of all, you got to know what you're pushing back against, and then you got to decide, is it worth pushing back against?
Well, the average Trump voter or the average Walls voter already hates Trump to the degree that anything he does or his administration does, they're automatically going to be opposed to it.
And that's what this article is,
Yeah.
Reavers. That's exactly what this is.
No, I don't think this is Trump doing anything. I don't think this
You
is
think
Trump.
this is Trump setting the table for
I don't even
post-Trump?
think he's setting the table. I think they were holding their breath, hoping Trump got elected. He got elected. They move in. He's their perfect. They couldn't ask for a better guy to be president while they do their thing.
May I add one thing to
Yes.
that, too? Without $250 million from Elon Musk, who this guy thinks is part of the ringleader, he doesn't get reelected.
That's right.
I mean, he can't even stay in the
They
race. basically.
needed him to be elected in order to do this. Now, listen. I told you we're having fun. We're letting our minds wander. We're.
What do you make of him saying when he was asked by the Fox News reporter, JD Vance, as your successor? And he said,
Nope.
Too early. Too early to tell. It's not. He's not. John, what did he say? He's not. He didn't say he's not ready yet, but not at this time.
Not at this time, yeah. And the guy kind of pressed it, and he still said he wouldn't.
He said 2 years down the road, when midterm elections are, he's going to.
They probably are very careful in what they allow Trump to know.
Did you just cash a huge check from the DNC?
Kenny, you're really off base on this one, which surprises me. That
Well,
has
me
nothing
and
to
the
do
lis-
with the DNC.
Me and the listeners. This is Democratic Party BS.
Well,
I don't think the guy has anything to do with the Democrats.
this has nothing to do with the DNC.
From
Take
reading
your
his
mind
pieces.
to a higher level and think in the future. What are guys like Musk really up to? Do you think Musk gives a bleep that we spent $10 million for a LGBT opera in Colombia? I don't. I think he's discovered that as part of the folly of the way it's
Here,
run.
let me answer that. Yes, I think he does. Why is that, Joe? Because he's a prominent figure who owns several businesses in this country, and therefore is probably looking at his own bottom line and trying to reduce what he's obligated to pay from a tax standpoint.
And what does Musk do every time he starts or buys a company?
He guts it.
He starts over.
Right.
Well, what if he's looking at the United States government as a company?
Let's go.
It's amazing that he's doing what you've been asking for years, and now you're against it.
Kenny, I said that exact thing before
This
you
is
signed
exactly
in.
what you've been yelling about for the last 20 years, Joe. And now you're getting it, and you're unhappy.
No, first of all, I'm not unhappy. And second, I still think that I must have failed miserably in expressing the point that's being made in the Brock piece. The point being made is that the end game, which I've been seeking, might be no more government. I don't think you can claim that's what I've wanted.
You've been asking for reduced government.
Well, that's a lot different than no more government.
Well, we're saving a few bucks.
And efficiency and competence to these guys would be an afterthought to what they're doing. In their minds, they would be saying, well, of course there'll be efficiency, and of course there'll be competence. We're going to do this algorithmically. They'll have quantum computers in the Oval Office. There won't be a president. It'll be AI.
Algorithmically?
I think I made that up.
So are you for or against this piece? Are you for or against what is being proposed in this piece? Do you like this? Is this a bad idea? Is this a good idea?
Well,
Where are
as
you at?
because Reavers asked me the very same question, I'll answer the same way. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know if this is a good idea. My instincts are that it's not. My instincts are that this replaces the voter. It replaces the voter.
Well, that's suspicion, though.
And that the power would be held by those with the most information, who would be these guys. I don't know where that leaves the guy who owns a hardware store in Wichita. We're still going to need brooms and screwdrivers and nuts and bolts, but I don't know what. All I know is I don't know bleep.
Well, no, wait. Before this breaks down, what we really need is his tax dollars. We need all of our tax dollars. That's how this country is run.
Yep.
And that's what I see Musk as saving us.
In fact, not to add to your, but Kenny, wasn't that one of the things they want to get rid of income tax? Wasn't that one of their campaign ideas / promises?
Mm-hmm.
What if that's part of this then? We don't need income tax.
You need a garage door that works,
Yeah.
Okay.
and Precision Door MN is your
Until Elon shuts down all garage doors in the country.
All openers are banned.
I've never met three idiots who have misunderstood
Thank you
this.
for excluding me.
Why don't Matthew show Joe the YouTube comments during this next break? Just let Joe read what GLers are saying about him today.
Go get him, boss.
And then maybe we'll see you tomorrow, maybe not. This might be the final moments right here.
Have I said anything that ridiculous?
No. Sorry.
Just read the comments, Joe.
I'm not going to.
Precision Door, huh?
What about them?
I heard they're the best.
They are.
They come to me?
You ought to have your. Yes, they do. In case you need a new door, Precision Door has models for every budget. And the on-site. First of all, the consultation is free, and it's on site. You don't bring your garage to them. But in the meantime, something wrong with your current operation, they're the people. Put this number into your contacts for Precision Door, 612-263-6985. They serve western Wisconsin, the entire metro. They don't charge more for weekend visits. They're the bee's knees if you prefer to go. Oh, by the way, you get the new door now. They're throwing in the opener. That's a value of more than $760. If you prefer to book online, go to Precision Door MN. That's one word, precisiondoormn.com.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
Useful Idiot Reavers here once again for my friends at Fast Photo Film Lab located in Bloomington. Here's their telephone number. It's 952-835-1815, or visit their website, which is fastphotofilm.com. Photo is spelled with an F, by the way. Your old-fashioned photo lab that offers in-house film processing, photo scanning, photo restoration, custom greeting cards for any occasion, photo books, and also, how about this, you guys? I was just informed by the staff there. You can bring into their lab or order through their website your favorite image, and they can turn it into a professional art print for your wall. I am 100% going to do this. Like a family photo, and you can turn it into art print for your wall. That's really, really cool. And they can print on all kinds of media, fine art paper, canvas, and even metal prints. Which is really, really neat. So sometimes you find that old box of photos and you're not quite sure what to do with it. We'll digitize them. That way generations can enjoy photos for a long, long time. So once again, visit them online at fastphotofilm.com. That's their website. And please make sure that you mention that you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic podcast.
Rook, read the definition of useful idiot.
A useful idiot or useful fool is a pejorative description of a person suggesting that the person thinks they are fighting for a cause without fully comprehending the consequences of their actions, and who does not realize they are being manipulated by the cause's leaders or by other political players.
Okay, and everybody's going to be mad at me because they think I'm calling Trump an idiot. The term applies because I happen to believe that Trump might not know exactly everything that's happening with the people he's brought in.
Well, it's more of a patsy, isn't it?
Yeah. Let me try one more time and then I'm moving on. Because I am guilty and have been over the years of jumping on things quickly.
You can be corrected sometimes.
Well, no, but I was thinking a lot of things, Michael, is it Brock?
Yeah.
Brock. Yep.
I've been wondering, what is the end game here? What's happening isn't normal. It's very unusual. And we're all stopping at the gate of, oh, he found fraud. And we're all happy with that. We're happy to have that discovered.
I am.
Yes, so am I. We're happy to have. But I think they're going beyond that. And they're saying, maybe a crude way to say it is, if there is fraud, it's a result of just how antiquated this system is. And they're behind the times. These people are Neanderthals compared to what we've been doing in Silicon Valley and with Tesla and with sending rockets to space that can parallel park themselves. And we're here to say to you people in the government, you really got a lot of upgrading to do.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, I do too.
But I don't know where that leaves us. I don't know where that leaves the American people.
Well, and my guess would
Does
be...
it stand to reason to you that, maybe, do you think that Trump's just this saintly, altruistic figure?
No.
I mean, not Trump, Musk. It's just this saintly, altruistic figure who wants to do good for humankind? Answers.
I don't think he is, and I don't know what his motivation is here. It's not money. Obviously, he has enough money.
Okay, that's a long enough answer. Everybody else?
There is no
short answer.
Nobody's perfect, but why can't his intentions be good?
I didn't ask you that. Do you think he's an altruistic person?
I guess I don't know him well enough. I don't know.
John?
No, I don't.
Kenny?
He's frozen.
Oh, where'd
He
Kenny go?
left.
Oh, Christ. What's wrong with him? Look at him.
He's frozen in time.
His face froze.
He's making the der face.
Kenny, you're not on the air.
I'll call him.
Not 1:30 yet.
And what does it mean when Trump has said, without retracting it, don't worry, you won't have to vote again? What does that mean?
That's out of my league. I have zero idea because you know what? In 2 years, we need to vote for midterms. In 4 years, we need to vote for a new president.
And I'm suggesting, just based on the article, which could be dramatically off base, they might be envisioning a scenario where there are no elections.
Why isn't he pressed then? Why isn't he forced?
Who in the conventional news gathering institutions is even going to read this Michael Brock piece, and who can understand it?
May I also add, when he is pressed, what happens?
He goes off track.
He immediately goes off track, attacks the reporter.
Who, Trump or Musk?
Trump.
Yeah.
He'll say your news network is CNN.
Yeah, exactly.
Is,
so what's the point? There's no use in,
But even as a...
It's Musk that needs to be questioned. I think it would be fun to have a real long interview with Musk. Hey, Elon, what are you really up to here?
You want to call him?
What's going on? Yeah, get him on the line.
I'll get him on.
Yeah, I call him up. Chris.
On the cell.
But
Chris, you better
that's
get
what
him
I
by
mean
the-
as far as he should be not taken to task, but what do you mean by that? Tell me what you mean. And if you don't know, why would you say that? Elections are what this country has been founded on, based on. You win some, you lose some.
And I think there's a possibility that they say it's had its run. It needs to be replaced by something far more streamlined and far more efficient.
I don't know what could be more efficient than here's my ballot, put it in the box.
Because that leads to the wrong conclusions.
Just ask Mike Lindell.
Yeah, right.
Well, I hope my emailer, Derek, has luck finding Brock. I would love to have Brock on the air. Where did you come up with this? What is driving your belief that this is what's afoot? I would love to know more. But I think it's fascinating because I don't think there's any doubt that something's going on that we don't know.
That's what makes it fascinating to me when you brought it up to me.
Yeah.
You know something else is going on besides these guys just going, yep, we got to cut government.
Yeah.
Something else is going on. What is it? This might be a real deep conspiracy thing this guy wrote. I don't know, and I haven't read the piece yet, so I can't really tell you.
These are guys who've invented internet banking. These are the guys who probably believe in Bitcoin. These are the guys who invented whole new ways to add 2 and 2. They're smarter than we are. Did you get a hold of Kenny?
Kenny has lost his internet.
Oh.
How convenient.
How
Let me see
convenient.
what you're saying on YouTube about that right now.
Sure, I believe.
Yeah,
that.
let's go to YouTube and
Or he just went, peace out.
Possibly.
And, well.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I just...
Okay, but I asked you this in passing, but again, I'm going to ask you again.
Yeah.
Why can't it be that he's in it for the right reasons? Again, I get why everyone has a suspicion about it, but why can't it be that he's in it for the right
He
reasons?
certainly could be.
Okay. And you're willing
Oh,
to to see things
absolutely.
out. Well, also because you have no choice, but
No, I do have a choice. I could be obstinate and say no. No, I think that he might be a hell of a guy. Maybe he really cares about the hardware store owner in Wichita.
well, look at what he's doing. He's building. What if he's a CIGL kind of guy? Huh?
He is.
See,
Except he doesn't use petroleum.
true.
His cars don't combust.
It's true.
They whine like bleeping sewing machines.
You don't want a Cybertruck?
I think that's the ugliest vehicle ever made.
I think I told you my neighbor got one.
More so
I
they are
would, go over
just-
I would go over to his house and tell him how ugly
They
it was.
are just horrific. They just everything about them is.
Well, I said when I first saw one, some cars are so ugly they're cool looking.
Like
this
the-
is not.
This
like
is
the
just
Yugo.
ugly.
Like the Yugo.
Yeah,
So,
no, man.
The Gremlin.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you a
Gremlin.
gremlin.
Okay.
I'll give you a
What do you
gremlin.
got against the Yugo?
Oh, God. That was like the Trabant in East Berlin. It was made out of some sort of fiberboard.
That was a great Saturday Night Live skit with the Yugo where it was made of mud. So if you got in an accident, you just reshaped.
Well,
the mud
it was
fender.
made out of fiberboard.
Yes.
The Trabant wasn't even steel.
Oh, those are terribly safe.
That was a nice car.
I'm
It's
glad
like
you guys,
it was the equivalent of these divot repairs we got.
Hey.
Divot repairs. I'm glad you guys brought up Gremlins. I've told you guys this before.
You own one.
The first new car I ever bought was a Gremlin. It was gorgeous, but after about 60 days, everything was falling apart.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it just
I
kind
had
of
to take it in.
disintegrated.
Yeah, I had to take it in 4 times to
Mm.
get stuff fixed, and finally said nope and traded it in on something else.
Boy, oh boy.
Would they give you a couple of magic beans and a Diet Coke for it?
Well, it was still new at that point, so I did okay. It was the 70s.
Boy, if you had that today, huh?
Yeah,
Was that AMC?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was the sports package. It was red,
Deluxe.
the
Wow.
white,
Deluxe.
The deluxe.
the little white lines.
Have a radio?
Yeah, it had a radio. Joe had a tape player too.
Oh boy, 8-track, I bet.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah, again, that's like our divot repair. Say, let's take a time out and come back with John Haidt.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Seafoam does it all. It does it very, very well, better than any other product on the shelf. It cleans critical engine areas. It preserves. How do I say that word? Preserves starting vapors. That means she's going to fire up when it's 20 below. And when you dump it in your crankcase, in with the oil, it loosens up that sticky crud. That's why you should do it anywhere from 100 to 200 miles before your next oil change. You keep doing that every oil change for a year, and that car, that engine, those cylinders are really going to love you for it. What it really does, and the reason we've been using it for so many years, is it helps preserve this garbage we call gasoline, and more than just a month or two. That's why we dump it in when we put our cylinders to bed, either in the winter or in the fall and in the spring. Keep using Seafoam in your daily driver. If you want to use it in your equipment around the house, do like Joe does. Just add it to the little gas can you use to fill up your weed whip or your lawnmower or your snowblower. It really works well. Always treat your cylinders with Seafoam, a wonderful product in a world of bad gas. Our friend Seafoam.
John Haidt, you wrestle with it for a while.
Okay, thanks, Joe. This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Prosecutors yesterday called 2 witnesses in the trial of Amy Bach, the founder and former executive director of Feeding Our Future. One woman testified she paid an associate of Bach $30,000 a month for the nonprofit sponsorship in a federal program to provide meals to children during the pandemic. 58-year-old Lul Ali owned and operated a small Somali restaurant in Faribault that ran a food distribution site under Feeding Our Future. Ali, through tears, told jurors how she falsely claimed to serve 1,000 kids per day at the direction of Bach. Ali said she agreed to, quote, tell the truth as part of a plea agreement in hopes of a reduced prison sentence. Ali's husband, Mohammed Hussein, operated an organization called Somali American Faribault Education. Ali said Bach later pressured them to open additional sites. She said Bach told her, more facilities, more money, the American dream. As part of her guilty plea, Ali admitted that Lido Restaurant falsely claimed to serve more than 700,000 meals to kids from.
Come on!
Let's go.
Listen, it's not even in a year. 700,000 from June 2020 to April 2021.
Way to go, Walsey!
For which the company received more than $2.9 million in federal child nutrition program funds. Altogether, Ali and Hussein got around $5 million from Feeding Our Future, she told the jurors. They're among the dozens of mostly Somali people who have pleaded guilty in the investigation.
I love the emailer who put the clock on that. It would take you years to feed that many people.
Well, and this is taking place in my hometown. I'm thinking 700,000 meals?
There aren't 700,000 kids in the 5-state area.
That's 10 months, right? Yeah, June to April. So 700,000 divided by 10 is what?
70,000 meals a month.
70,000 meals a month.
And it never made the TV news or anything. You would think you would have saw the lines wandering around the block and the small children huddled in their winter coats.
Maybe
obviously,
a bread shortage.
Summer coats.
Obviously, Bach's going away, but what does she stand to face? Do we know what?
God, I hope it's a long time. However, allegedly she's guilty.
I'm not sure because I know she's charged with at least 3 things. Remember the wire fraud and all kinds of stuff. So.
She's the mob boss, allegedly.
The mastermind.
The mastermind.
Useful
allegedly.
idiot.
No, she was a very important idiot.
Yeah, the other people would be
the lady that said she fed $700,000 is a useful idiot.
Got it. Okay.
Tuesday afternoon, Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara talked about an early morning crime spree on Tuesday that he called brazen. Right now, police do not believe the suspects knew the victims of the crimes, and they're asking for help to identify and find at least 3 suspects. Now, in all these various things that happened, incidents, 2 people were shot. O'Hara said the incidents all were random. 6 violent incidents happened between 5 in the morning and 6:50 in the morning in the 3rd Precinct. At 5:41, MPD said they activated their crime pattern response protocol, previously known as the robbery response protocol, to add more officers to try to find the suspects or vehicle. Minneapolis police say they think the same group of suspects carried out the 6 crimes. Witnesses told police that 3 to 4 male suspects were traveling in a white sedan. In each case, officers have recovered the white sedan and a vehicle stolen in the carjacking, according to the chief. In one of the incidents, one suspect fired a shot toward a house as they were leaving, hitting a 54-year-old man who was looking out his upstairs window. That man taken to the hospital with a potentially life-threatening injury. Another person ran to a nearby YWCA after being shot. Luckily, a nurse happened to be there and helped treat that victim.
I have an email regarding this story. The people in this story, Boyd and Denise, are regular cyclists who in season join my 6:30 a.m. Friday bike rides, where you might see 6 to 12 riders sporting our costumes resembling olive jar labels, including the fashionable and tight-fitting St. Paul Bike Racing Club outfits. Let's reach out to the GLers to keep Boyd and Denise and the MPD in our thoughts and prayers. Mr. Mayor, what is happening that a guy can't safely look out his home's window to take a glance? More evidence of the moral and ethical decline of our society. Yep. Good luck. Skilly from West St. Paul.
Yep.
Okay, did you see this on the news,
Sure
the video
did.
of this?
Yep.
Yeah.
The kid just offhandedly and casually, before he got in the car in the alley, shot through the window of the house, and then calmly and slowly got back in the car and off they drove. What the hell?
Didn't they both shoot at the house?
I only saw the one that shot through the house, and apparently that's what hit a fellow and broke his jaw and took him to the hospital.
Well, he's lucky he's not dead.
Right.
These happened all over the neighborhood I used to live in and the neighborhood my son currently lives in. One of the shootings, I believe it was the one where the guy got shot, was 3 short blocks from Roosevelt High School. The other one, 34th, over by the, I think it's a Super America on 52nd and 34th or something like that.
Good Lord.
It's a great city. Yeah. So vibrant. Come on down and see what
There
else
was a
is about.
BOL yesterday. Normally you don't hear a lot on the State Patrol scanner about Minneapolis crime, but the State Patrol scanner yesterday morning was all morning long. They were looking for these guys.
Now, Chris, in fairness to downtown, that had nothing to do with downtown. You said, come on down and have a good time.
Well, you know what I meant.
You were referring to downtown.
Okay. The city itself.
Yeah.
Chief O'Hara making other news, too, if you read the op-ed section in the Star Tribune today.
Yeah.
In the piece, the chief said the actions of Derek Chauvin in connection with the death of George Floyd were in contrast to any police training. He defended in the piece Assistant Chief Katie Blackwell against accusations that she lied on the witness stand. She had testified that Chauvin's action in the case were not taught by the police department. That was questioned. Well, the chief said her testimony was backed by training records, other officers' testimony, and the public condemnation from other officers on the force. O'Hara called reporting from conservative news outlets in the story revisionist history in the op-ed.
But so many officers came forward and said it is actually taught. And I'm wondering if all of this hinges on a detail. Derek was in handcuffs when this maneuver was being put on him. Could that be
George Floyd?
George Floyd was.
What did
George
I say?
Floyd was.
Derek.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, George, I mean. Could that be the one
Yes,
detail?
It could be.
The other thing it sounded like from the op-ed when you read it is the fact that Floyd was unconscious and he just kept kneeling on him. The chief said that would never be trained to any officer ever.
Yeah.
What am I missing here? What's the context?
The trial of Katie.
Oh, okay. Because I was just wondering, because O'Hara wasn't police chief when this happened. So I was just curious what the context was.
No, it was the assistant police chief who said this was not taught during the trial. And then after Chauvin was convicted, all these police officers came forward and said, wait a minute, it was taught.
Got it.
And
okay.
I'm assuming, maybe wrongly, that the detail is that he was out of it and he was handcuffed.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know, though, for certain.
Bomb squad crews were called to a house in Northfield Monday, after a family found World War II era hand grenades in their garage. Officers called to the 400 block of College Street South around 4:30 p.m. after a family that was cleaning a garage found what looked like, and I'll need some clarification on this, World War II Japanese grenades. Now, I know what German grenades looked like. They called them potato mashers. And then we have the American grenades. What did Japanese hand grenades look like? I'm unfamiliar.
No.
Pineapples.
No.
Pineapples?
I'm guessing. I am. I mean, I'm being serious.
I think it looks like Kenny's looking it up, so I'm going to keep reading the story and see what he finds.
Unfortunately, I spelled Japanese with a Z, so I wouldn't trust me looking.
Did you have a thought?
Yeah.
No, he does not.
I
He has no
zero.
thoughts.
I have a clear. I'm going Ernie Els. Right now, I'm not burdened.
Not much going on.
With a complex mind.
It looks like a can of Red Bull about the same diameter with a big knob and a pin on top of it.
Huh.
Good thing the kids didn't start throwing those around, huh?
Yeah.
That'd hurt.
Would have been bad.
The family said they suspected they were left behind by a family member who had served in the military. The St. Paul Police Department bomb squad was called in to assist the Northfield Police Department. Just before 7 in the evening, the squad safely removed the grenades, which were taken to be safely destroyed. Evacuations were not needed, and criminal charges will not be filed, according to law enforcement.
Man, if I fought in the Japanese theater, I'm not hauling those all the way back to Northfield. You know, I mean, they could go off at any moment. I'm just not going to do that.
And yes, to all the GLers that have emailed me, that was my mother on the news finding World War stuff at the
Your
family
mom
farm.
And
was it really?
Yes, that was.
Your dad was also on.
When was she on the news?
Over the weekend, I think it was.
Well, I didn't see that.
Friday or Saturday. Yeah.
What'd she find? A cannon or something?
Oh, it was some stuff. I haven't watched it yet.
When were you gone? You were gone.
It was Friday. Yeah, it was.
So it was Friday morning.
It was Friday morning.
He was over there planting it.
Yeah.
So
what news channel was it on?
KSTP. It was Joe. Help me, camera guy. Joe Caffrey. Joe Caffrey was the video guy for it.
What the hell?
My guy Joe.
What do I Google? Woman finds stuff in garage.
Reaver's mom's finds stuff.
Send it to me.
And then she probably tried to sell the guy some kolachkis and some quilts and crap like that.
Was it Japanese stuff?
I don't believe so.
Well, who was fighting in your family?
Nobody.
Your old man would be too young.
Oh, it's Grandpa.
Yeah. All right.
Why don't we take?
Oh, wait a minute. She's looking for somebody.
Yeah. Right. She
Who
is.
was lost?
Is she a collector of World War II?
No, okay, here's the background.
Yeah,
why is this a story?
My family's farm, okay, where my grandparents lived, is full of just junk. There's so much crap.
Any wood boats?
Maybe. But she discovered this and wants to find who the person is.
Who owned it?
Who owned
had it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, what did she discover?
stuff.
Like an old Jeep that runs perfect in pristine condition that was covered and preserved completely for the last 40 years.
With cosmoline.
Yes, with cosmoline. Will we have marmalade for breakfast?
Take the damn
Why
break.
don't we take a break here and hear from the rookie?
Yeah, let's
Speaking of
Watch
Japanese,
because my brain is clogged. But not with sludge. It's clogged with a lot of information. But if your drain, look at that, look at dirty work. Look at me. I'm on TV with a clogged drain. Clogged drains are not funny because they're very expensive. And I saw in the mail the other day, there was a company that was trying to get a visual inspection done for whatever. And I said, no. I go with McDonough's uncloggeddrains.com. They are the people. They've got everything. Sewer drain, water jetting, vac trucks. They will help you unclog that drain. And yes, that sewer line all the way out to the city, if it gets clogged, it's going to be very pricey. So the sewer lines, performing preventive maintenance to avoid costly backups. And this is homes to businesses as well. They handle everything. Minor blockages to major drain issues, water jetting, video inspections, even grease trap training for commercial kitchens. The big vac trucks make all the noise that... They really suck, don't they? Yes, they do a great job. They do a wonderful job. Those huge wet, dry vacuum trucks that clean out catch basins and flammable waste traps, elevator pits, and a whole bunch more. They do suck, Joe. And I'll tell you what, Unclogged Drains is fantastic. Their phone number, because that's your watch, it's not your phone, 651-436-3370 or uncloggeddrains.com. Call them and let them know that the Rook sent you today.
He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
speaking of images, look at that image right there. Masters Maples at mastersmaples.com.
What's the stuff in the bag?
Stuff in the bag.
Spices.
That's maple sugar.
Oh,
Sugar.
boy.
So for the bakers in your life, you can order a bag of maple sugar. Oof. You know, I'm due for a run
Hey,
probably
you
here.
sprinkle it on your bacon.
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh, my God.
100%. In fact, I made appetizers with bacon, club crackers, and Parmesan cheese with Masters maple syrup on the top. They were so good for the Super Bowl.
Club crackers, bacon, Maples Masters, and brown sugar. I didn't go the Parmesan.
Look at this.
Fantastic. I'm looking at Joe's watch. You know what time it is?
2:30.
Time to talk about Masters Maples at mastersmaples.com. Here's the deal. The owner, his name is Ben. He's a true GLer, and he led this expedition 12 years ago to create Masters Maples. And from tap to table, it brings you the best 100% pure maple syrup that Minnesota has to offer. But you can also order their sweet and savory seasonings and rubs. And like we mentioned, the maple sugar. It also has a lot of health benefits that commonly used refined sugars do not. So do me a favor. Go online right now and order your products today at mastersmaples.com and help out our buddy Ben, a true GLer, Masters Maples at mastersmaples.com. Joe, John, whatever your name is.
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
In other news, consumer prices rose 3% in January compared to a year ago, ticking up from the previous month, posing an obstacle for Trump administration tariff policies that economists expect to raise some prices. All this in new government data this morning. The inflation reading came in higher than economists had predicted. The fresh data extends a bout of resurgent inflation that stretches back to last year. 2 weeks ago, the Federal Reserve opted to hold interest rates steady, in part out of concern regarding the stubborn price increases. Egg prices, a closely watched symbol of rising costs, soared 53% in January compared to a year ago. An avian flu has decimated the egg supply, lifting prices higher. Beef prices climbed 5%. Bacon prices climbed 6% in January compared to a year ago. By contrast, prices dropped over that same period for bread, rice, and tomatoes.
I need a quick mayoral ruling, please, Joe.
Yeah.
Does it get this?
What?
Johnny did say tick up, but not
Yes.
uptick.
No, ticking up in any form is horrible.
Okay, good. Okay, I thought I'd ask.
Yep.
The Senate this morning confirming Tulsi Gabbard as President Trump's Director of National Intelligence after Republicans who had initially questioned her experience and judgment fell in line behind the nomination. Gabbard was an unconventional pick to oversee and coordinate the country's 18 different intelligence agencies, given her past comments that were sympathetic to Russia, a meeting that she held with now-deposed Syrian President Bashar Assad, and her previous support for government leaker Edward Snowden. Gabbard, a military veteran and former Democratic congresswoman from Hawaii, was confirmed by a 52-48 vote, with Democrats opposed in the sharply divided Senate, where Republicans hold a slim majority. The only no vote from a Republican came from Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. President Trump met with Jordan's King Abdullah II at the White House yesterday, reiterating his proposal to control and develop the Gaza Strip while relocating 2 million Palestinians to neighboring countries. Though Abdullah dismissed the proposal last week, he offered to receive 2,000 sick Palestinian children in the meeting. About 5,000 children are considered critically ill in the territory. Jordan, as well as most Arab states, condemns the idea of resettling more Palestinians in their countries, with Jordanian lawmakers proposing a bill last week banning the policy. The talks come as the 3-week-old ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip faces a potential breakdown. Hamas warned Monday it would pause hostage releases due to reported Israeli violations of the ceasefire, prompting Israel to threaten to end the truce this weekend. President Trump making a rare appearance with Elon Musk yesterday, his most powerful advisor. It happened in the Oval Office before signing an executive order to continue downsizing the federal workforce. Musk told reporters he was operating with full transparency and cutting government spending, but then would offer no explanations or information indicating that. Musk, missing the irony of his own comments, called federal employees an unelected fourth branch of government that need to be held accountable. By the way, Joe, Musk wearing a baseball cap in the Oval Office.
I hope I get at least one email from somebody who understood what I was attempting to say. I just one.
I'll send you one.
Oh, you're running out of real estate over here on YouTube. Yeah.
You know, there's a new buzzword. You remember a few years ago when we played that?
Wait a minute. John, you're right. He wore a baseball hat in the Oval Office.
Through the whole meeting, yeah.
Inside.
Does that get the double?
Give him a horn. Yeah. You don't wear a hat in the Oval Office.
What team was it? What baseball cap?
Just a mega hat.
It was a mega hat.
Oh, okay. You remember we played a news clip of various television outlets basically saying the same sentences over and over relating to COVID, a threat to democracy, blah, blah, blah. You remember that? Well, there's a new one related to what Musk is doing to government spending, and I'll cue this up.
That is a constitutional crisis.
Causing a constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
Over and over again, but there were several talking heads basically saying the same thing over and over again.
Wasn't that was about the attack on the judiciary, I believe? Because
I thought this was related to, because it says government spending on this clip.
Oh, okay. I actually used it in response to.
If something ultimately is to replace the Constitution, I think the term constitutional crisis would be apt.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what does apt mean?
What?
Apt natural.
The White House. The White House shut out the Associated Press from an event yesterday because the news organization declined to update its style guide to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Ooh. Donald Trump announced in his inaugural address, of course, you remember, he would change the name of the body of water between Florida and Texas, and then signed an executive order. Well, yesterday he wouldn't let the AP in because they haven't used that term. Julie Pace is the AP's executive editor. She said it's alarming the Trump administration would punish AP for its independent journalism. Limiting our access to the Oval Office based on the content of AP's speech not only severely impedes the public's access to independent news, plainly it violates the First Amendment. Legal experts say it ranks as a prior restraint in violation of the First Amendment.
I think that's dangerous. Let her in.
With an American flag draped over his shoulders, Mark Fogel, an American teacher freed from a Russian prison, arrived at the White House last night and was welcomed by President Trump. The 63-year-old Fogel had been serving a 14-year prison sentence in a Russian prison colony after being arrested in 2021 on drug charges. Fogel said, addressing reporters from the White House, "I'm not a hero. President Trump is a hero." At times, overcome with emotion, Fogel thanked his family, including his 95-year-old mother, who pleaded his case to Trump at a campaign rally last year. He also thanked Steve Witkoff, Trump's special Middle East envoy, who played a key role in negotiating Fogel's release. Fogel spent 3.5 years in prison before his release. He declined to describe his ordeal in specifics, saying every day was a challenge, but that he needed time to talk about it. He said he had received over 400 injections while imprisoned, but didn't say for what or provide any further details.
I think they were harmful. He had a very hard time expressing himself in the Oval Office. He was almost disoriented.
Well, what's wrong with the Russians giving him 14 years for a small amount of medicinal marijuana?
Well, because that's the game they play.
Yeah, they want to hold somebody so they can get somebody back from us.
You're saying you don't think the Russians may have been kind to him?
No, I hope the guy's all right, but he didn't know what to say. He was so stunned that he was released.
Well, when they were chasing after him at the airport, he kept saying over and over, "The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming."
John, continue.
Yeah, a blowout on the field did not deter a record number of viewers from watching the Super Bowl. Sunday's Fox Sports telecast averaged 127.7 million viewers across all platforms.
Football.
That's the second straight year the Super Bowl has an all-time viewing record in the U.S. It's up about 3% compared to last year, which was also a record. The primary broadcast on Fox drew 111.33 million viewers, down some from the 120.25 million who watched the entire game last year on CBS, but the upswing in streaming more than made up the difference. Viewing peaked at 135.7 million from 8 to 8:15 Eastern Time during the game's second quarter when the Eagles took the big lead. Viewers, though, stuck around for Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, which averaged 133.5 million viewers across all platforms. That number is the highest ever for any Super Bowl halftime show.
Did you read that news of a disabled guy who's been in a wheelchair for ages, and he thanked Kendrick Lamar for the halftime show?
Why?
Because he was able to get up and walk over and turn it off.
Oh,
wow.
Bam!
Boom,
I didn't see that one.
Boom,
Wow.
boom.
Looking for that now.
Boom.
What was the guy's name?
I don't know what his name was.
What was the
Stand up,
guy's
Chuck.
name?
Stand up, Chuck.
Monty, a giant schnauzer, was crowned best in show.
Hey.
Was crowned best in show yesterday at the 2025 Westminster Kennel Club Dog Competition, the second longest continuously held sporting event in the U.S. Do you know what the longest running continuously held sporting event in the U.S. is?
No.
The Kentucky Derby.
Oh, boy. And the dogs are second?
Yep. 149th prestigious U.S. canine show.
A schnauzer won the whole thing?
A giant schnauzer.
Would you like to see my giant schnauzer?
No.
The show began in 1877. It returned to its traditional home at Madison Square Garden after a 4-year hiatus. Over 3 days, about 2,500 pampered dogs representing 201 breeds competed for the best of breed. A total of 7 dogs competed for best in show. Those dogs included Monty, and then Bourbon the Whippet in the Hound group, Freddie the English Springer Spaniel in the Sporting group, Archer the Skye Terrier in the Terrier group, Comet the Shih Tzu in the Toy group, Neil the Bichon Frise in the non-sporting group, and Mercedes the German Shepherd in the herding.
Red Smith used to occasionally cover that for his column. I think it would be a wonderful thing to write.
Well, didn't you had a story about that? Wasn't there the guy, he had to go to the doctor with the schnauzer?
No. That's a different, it's not my story.
You know
Not
a guy?
my story.
I knew a guy.
You did, huh?
Yeah.
What happened?
There's something to do with the dog,
I thought
right?
it was a gal.
Something to do with, I don't know what it was, John.
Yeah, Fred Willard in the movie.
It was some
It was
unguent.
wonderful.
Best in
Unguent or
show.
ointment.
Yeah. And she said, can I put it on my schnauzer?
I said, yeah, but I wouldn't ride a bike.
I wouldn't ride a bike for a week or two, you know.
I knew we'd get to it eventually.
Well, we had.
Fred
If I
Willard,
did that
how do you-
story, I knew we'd get to
How do you
that
beat
joke.
Eugene Levy, though, with 2 left feet?
2 left
He's
feet.
running with 2 left feet, and it
No,
just
really.
it
He
works.
has 2 left feet.
Yes.
A 7-Eleven customer used a banana to batter a store clerk, according to Florida police. 22-year-old Caltavia Turner got into a verbal altercation with a 30-year-old female worker, and the women exchanged derogatory comments toward each other, according to the police report. At one point, Turner became irate, picked up a banana from the cashier counter, and threw the banana at the victim's face. It hit the employee, leaving an abrasion, according to investigators.
Boy, left a mark.
Yeah.
Turner was arrested for battery and booked into the county jail on the misdemeanor count. Police records list Turner's employer as Baby Dolls, a Clearwater Gentlemen's Club located 4 miles from the 7-Eleven.
Where the baby doll at?
Was the banana then assumed to be a prop for some reason?
No, she got the banana at the store.
From the counter.
Do you think she had to pay for it?
No, she just picked up the banana and attacked the clerk.
But she didn't pay for it first.
Apparently not.
Turner was also recently arrested for resisting arrest and giving cops a false name when they responded to a trespass call at Baby Dolls.
Baby Dolls.
She was free on $1,000 bond in that case when she was collared for the banana battery.
John, thank you so much.
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?
Yeah.
Say you might be thinking of relocating your business or starting a new wing or arm of your business. You might want to consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota. South Dakota's largest city, a population of more than 290,000, a ready and willing and eager young workforce. But here's what you're going to consider if you're in the business deal. No state corporate or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, and no limits to what your business can achieve. It's a very tax-friendly state, very hardworking with great health care and doctors, the most popular to move to. Top10.com.
Nice.
South Dakota. And one of the 50 best places to live for families, according to Fortune magazine.
Okay.
But given the financial situation in Minnesota, I'm sure there are businesses that are checking this out, and you can find out everything you need at Sioux Falls Development. That's one word, SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, got it! Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey!
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time than this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see, everybody, 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see, 100 years ain't what it used to be.
Okay, I'll take that.
Did you know that?
Did not know that, but it should be.
On this day,
212.
in 1939,
212 now. Okay.
more than 3,000 people, 2/3 of their children, escaped death or serious injury when they rushed out of the amphitheater in Duluth seconds before the steel and wood roof of the expansive sports arena collapsed under the weight of snow during an intermission in the annual Duluth Police Department and Virginia, Minnesota Fire Department hockey game. The swift evacuation was credited to the fact that many spectators were in the front lobby at the time, as well as to the presence of most of the city's police and the calmness of organist Leland McEwen, who remained at his post playing soothing music until the last moment.
Just kind of like the Titanic deal. The band just kept playing.
Thank
1
you.
E or 2 in Leland?
What?
That's my son's name. I was just curious.
1, L.
Oh, very cool.
Does he know him?
I don't think
Is
so.
that your kid, 1L?
Yep.
Is that the correct?
1E. 1E.
Oh, I think he's doing
1E, Leland. Yep. On this day,
Joe, today is February 12th.
in 1988,
Wow.
famed restaurateur Joe Huey died in Duluth. Born in Guangdong Province, China in 1892, Huey first came to the city in 1909 and made it his American home while returning to the land of his birth for extended stays until the communist government established control there in the late 1940s. In 1951, he opened Joe Huey's Cafe on Lake Avenue in Duluth, which for 22 years offered Asian food in a companionable atmosphere.
Oh, I bet that was good stuff.
But
Beef and broccoli?
But that would not have made this day in history if I was right.
No, beef and broccoli.
Just a cafe.
No.
And just to let you know, YouTube, the audio's back.
And,
Order for Mark?
and finally, on this day,
Are you talking about February 12th?
in the year 2000, cartoonist Charles M. Schulz died in California. That summer in St. Paul, his childhood home, 101 individually decorated 5-foot-tall statues of Snoopy were displayed in a celebration of Schultz's life. Later in the year, 2 auctions of Snoopy statues, including some from the celebration and some made especially for auction, were held with the announcement that the money raised would be used as memorial funds to create a bronze sculpture of Schultz characters for downtown St. Paul, as well as to benefit the College of Visual Arts in St. Paul and provide scholarships at the art instruction schools, a Minnesota-based correspondence school where Schultz studied and taught. Snoopy statues were not placed for auction. Was also announced. Snoopy statues not placed for auction, it was announced, were to be returned to the local businesses and organizations that originally sponsored them. And to which I would add one final note to this.
Go.
I'm unaware of any bronze sculptures of Schultz characters in downtown St. Paul.
Well, didn't they start out as bronze and then they started to paint them? It became a trend. Businesses.
Yeah, I don't know that they were bronze, were they? They were all painted.
Well, they're not to be confused with the Snoopies. That said, part of the money raised by selling the Snoopies was to be used to create bronze statues of Peanuts characters in downtown St. Paul.
Can't believe we celebrate a kid with chronic depression that probably later in life stepped off a cliff.
Yeah.
And always fell for the football trick. By his
Just a complete idiot.
by his licensed therapist. A nickel. She charged him.
That's it for today. Thank you.
Don't forget, you get your golf show passes at mngolfshow.com.
You
We
wanna
will
get
be
down
out there.
baby. You got a prize waiting for you.
You do, and you can join us on Friday, next Friday, February 21st at the 2025 North American Banking Company Minnesota Golf Show. It runs all weekend long at the Minnesota Convention Center. You get 10 free green fee passes.
You get a divot repair tool.
And a Garage Logic
I
divot
know.
repair tool if you purchase online, so find those. Let me get that for you, Joe. And also, don't forget to sign up for the Daily Logician. It's an email, comes right to your inbox, and all month long we're celebrating the new GLer of the week, and you can find out more and upgrade your town council membership so you are eligible right now at garagelogic.com. All you got to do is be an annual town council subscriber, and you're automatically entered You'll get a shout out and that $50 gift box from our friends at Masters Maples and mastersmaples.com.
5,000. There are bronze statues outside of St. Paul Hotel Plaza.